When will we get a $1,400 fourth stimulus check? This is an important question, which we'll be discussing right here in this video. Let's get right into it. All right, so this is a very common question that I see down in the comments section literally every single day. Many of you are reaching out wondering, when are we going to see a fourth stimulus check? When are we going to get a $1,400 stimulus check? When are we going to get monthly recurring payments? When are we going to see a monthly benefit raise to all the fixed income beneficiaries? These are questions that I see down in the comments section literally every single day from many of you right here in the community. I totally get it. Of course, I don't understand everybody's situation, but I do understand the struggle is very much real right now, and many people, not only those of you right here in the community, but many people all around this country right now are wondering the exact same thing. When is Congress finally going to step up and do something? When is the administration going to come out and announce something during this very high inflationary time that we're in right now to help out Americans, especially during a time when money is being thrown around everywhere all around the world right now? Many people are saying, what about us here? We're struggling too. Can you please give us some clarity as to when we're going to get some relief going forward? Now, we've also heard the president coming out a few times as of the last few days here, and over the last month or so, he's been out a few different times making specific statements about how they're going to lower inflation for Americans. However, even though the announcements came out of the president maybe a month and a half ago, and then again as recently as just a few days ago, a lot of this hasn't really yielded any reduction in inflation and lowering prices for the American people. So once again, the discussion out there right now is, okay, we can actually address this in a couple different ways. Number one, lowering prices, or number two, getting money into the pockets of the people to help actually get ahead of all this inflation, right? So there's a lot of different ways that we could approach this, but I do want to talk about this question in particular that many of you have been asking down in the comments section. When will we get some type of relief, whether it's a one-time fourth stimulus check, whether it's monthly recurring payments, a benefit raise, all of these different things? I want to discuss that right here in this video for you. But really quickly before we get into it, if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video so you don't miss any updates going forward, as this is a very busy time that we're living through right now. Things are changing very rapidly right now. New information is hitting the wire very rapidly. If you've been watching the videos for any length of time now, especially lately, yesterday and the day before, I was out with some really weird announcements that have been hitting the tape. Yeah, some really weird stuff going on out there and all these announcements. But the fact of the matter is, there are many things out there. There's a lot of programs that are being implemented right now, as well as coming forward from the last stimulus package about a year ago. In fact, the president alone yesterday released $45 billion to help out the low income. So that was just yesterday alone. Anyway, there's a lot going on right now. My point is, anytime that we get money, packages, proposals, announcements, reform, raises, anything like this, I want to make sure that you know about it immediately. And I do that right here on this channel through these videos as I'm doing research and watching everything very, very closely all day, every single day. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. And let's get right into this. All right, so first things first, to better understand this question, we need to first look at the full picture, right? That's what we always got to do. We can't just look at one piece of data and say, okay, this is it. No, we have to look at the entire picture. Now, here's what we know. We do know that there are multiple different lawmakers who are in support of sending out additional checks to the American people. In fact, just about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago or so, we had around 8 different proposals that hit the table from various different lawmakers, multiple different representatives. We had senators. We had all kinds of different people coming out of Congress with all these different proposals and different ideas as far as how they can get money into the pockets of the people. Now, we saw these different proposals coming out, like rebates, tax credits, tax rebates, vouchers, one-time lump sum stimulus checks. $1,200 is what we saw then. We also saw these ongoing monthly checks. There were a lot of different things. And we also have to remember, too, about a year ago, there were over 80 members of Congress who were in support of $2,000 stimulus checks plus ongoing payments. Remember all this? Yeah. So there's a lot of lawmakers out there collectively who are in support and have been previously in major support of ongoing checks and, of course, a one-time stimulus check going forward. Now, there's a couple other things that we need to look at as well. I want to lay that out for you just so that we can understand where we came from and where we currently stand as of right now and the most recent data on stimulus checks as far as those proposals that came out of Congress just not that long ago, right? just a matter of weeks ago. All right, so I've actually been seeing some articles once again circulating, wondering if Congress will be coming out once again, introducing some of the proposals that they came out with about 2 months ago or so, again, give or take a couple weeks, based on all of these different proposals coming out to send out monthly ongoing checks, one-time stimulus checks, and all kinds of other programs right now to help out, especially the low income. So we talked about this back when these things were coming out, but these are some of the things that are circling out there right now. Especially as of yesterday, we hit a new all-time high national average for 1 gallon of gas, 10 cents more than what we saw just a few months ago back in March. Well, that's also something we got to consider going forward, right? So this is the things that we need to watch going forward. Next, I want to point this out. I know I've mentioned this a little bit in other videos, but I want to point this out once again. The midterm elections are only a handful of months away, okay? Like not that many months away until the midterm elections are in full swing. But that is the election day. Here's what we got to consider as well. The election cycle is pretty much upon us. Here's the thing. We know that there are many people in Congress who want to remain in their job, right? They want to keep a job rather than being replaced by somebody else. Therefore, we've also heard all this talk out of Congress and mainly Democrats. And again, I'm not singling out Democrats, but rather I'm pointing them out simply because they do have full control of everything right now, the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Therefore, they can pass through another reconciliation bill, just like we saw a little over a year ago, the $1.9 trillion stimulus package that contained the $1,400 stimulus checks. They can do that. And according to the most recent research, it looks like they want to pass another reconciliation bill sometime between now and the midterm elections. Well, guess what? That can contain virtually anything within it. However, full disclaimer, a reconciliation bill cannot actually have permanent raises to benefits like Social Security, SSDI, retirement, survivors, SSI. It cannot have that in there. That must be done on a bipartisan basis. However, a reconciliation bill can 100% contain stimulus checks, whether it's ongoing monthly, just like they approved last year as a result of the child tax credit, or they can also approve a one-time lump sum stimulus check, again, just like they approved last year in the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. So you can see here the power behind this. Now, some of the other data out there shows that Democrats do want to pass one of these bills, ideally before about mid-August. Well, again, that's coming quick here. We know at which the speed Congress moves. We know that it takes them a very long time. But apparently, the discussion right now and some of the headlines that are coming out, apparently they are talking behind closed doors about a next package. And apparently Joe Manchin is on board with this. And apparently he is also one of these people who's actually orchestrating some of the negotiations between the parties. So again, we'll have to see what actually comes out of that. But it sounds like it's a little bit hush-hush on this simply because all the proposals that they've brought to the table over the last 2 years or year even that we've seen come to the table and nothing ever happens with them. So maybe they finally got the idea that, hey, maybe this time we shouldn't tell everybody out in the world that we're working on something because it may not happen, right? So that's the thing, is we need to continue watching closely. So we do know that all of this is currently happening. This is where we currently stand. However, I want to point this out and just make it very clear where we are right now, what's going on with this so that we're all on the same page. Of course, as of right now, Congress has not approved a fourth stimulus check. However, I want to throw this out there as well, coming back full circle so that we're all on the same page and that we gave all of that kind of precursor information so that we all understand where we are as of now. I want to make sure that you understand, and so that I'm actually answering your question based on the comments and the questions down below in the comment section as we originally talked about at the beginning of this video. When is the big word, right? When? So anyway, when can we possibly see a fourth stimulus check? Now here's the thing. Again, I just want to make it very clear. I know I just said this, but I want to make it very, very clear so that we're all on the same page. There's no misunderstanding and anybody coming out saying, you said, you promised. No, I'm trying to talk you through all the details and let you know where we currently stand and what is going on with this. Here's the thing. If a fourth stimulus check is going to be approved, I can tell you this much. The likelihood of it being approved before the midterm elections would be very, very high. If there happens to be another one, it would likely be approved before the midterm elections, exactly for this reason. Because when they go to the midterm elections, who are they going to remember? Or sorry, I should say this much. Who are we going to remember as we go to the polls and start voting if somebody puts a bunch of money in our pocket before the midterm elections? Right? Do you remember the person who gave you money or do you remember the person who didn't give you money? Just saying, right? So Money talks, if you know what I mean, right? So that's something that we certainly need to take into consideration. Timing is also very important, right? So the timing of the distribution and or timing of even the approval of and the announcements of additional money is also very important, because they kind of have a two-way street here. So number one, they could have checks approved and not gone out yet by the midterm elections. That'd almost be as good as checks that have gone out. At the same time, they could have checks that have gone out. That would be the best of all the worlds prior to the midterm elections. And then the other situation is they have checks that have been introduced, announced, talked about, but nothing has ever come of it yet. That would be the worst of the situations out of all three of these. And then, of course, the worst of all would be no checks, no nothing of any kind at all. And that would be a really, really bad situation, mostly for Democrats. And again, not taking sides here. I'm just simply saying they've got to pull out a big win here for the American people. And at this point, it doesn't look like they have a big win yet. They need to pull out a big win. They recognize this. I've seen multiple articles about it. We've seen many different people, lawmakers, coming out of Congress saying, we got to pull out a big win. In fact, Elizabeth Warren was out a few weeks ago saying in an interview that Democrats need to do something for the American people. Basically, otherwise, it's almost a guarantee that they're going to lose some of the some seats in the midterm election, right? The House, the House representatives and senators. So Elizabeth Warren has mentioned it. Bernie Sanders. I mean, multiple different people, high-profile people, have mentioned they got to get something done for the American people. Well, this would certainly be one way to do it. They certainly know how to do it. They've sent out 3 checks over the last 2 years now. They've got this down. They know how to do it. It is very simple. Simply just getting a piece of legislation passed through Congress, signed by the president, and then it goes into the hands of the IRS and Treasury. They start getting everybody's information, your banking information, your address, your mailing information, and then that money just basically starts flowing, right? We've seen it over the last couple of years here. Anyway, super easy process, super easy to get done, just a matter of Congress actually doing it. So for those of you asking when, this is kind of where we currently stand, and sometime just like a little bit of a timeline as far as when checks could possibly be approved / anything possibly sent out. So again, want to make it very clear, nothing has been deposited, nothing has been approved, nothing has been sent out quite yet as of now. But things are changing very rapidly right now, as we've talked about many times here on the channel, and as I continue to keep you updated every single day, things are changing, new announcements are coming out literally every single day, which is why I said you got to make sure you're subscribed so that you can make sure to watch all the videos going forward during this very busy time, and I have all those updates for you right here in this video, which, by the way, if you want to see some interesting updates, go back to that last video that I posted yesterday titled, "This is Messed Up." Check out that one. That's, yeah, you might want to sit down for that video. Anyway, other than that, go back and check out some of the other videos here. There's a lot going on right now, and I'm watching everything closely to help you out in any way that I possibly can. So again, for those of you asking, I hope this helps to answer your question. As I do get more answers and more information, of course, I'll be right back here for you, breaking it down. Thanks again. Enjoy your day. Subscribe down below. Share the video with your friends, family, social media. And of course, go back and check out any of the other 2,500 videos right here on the channel. Enjoy.